There are games that define a year, and then there are games that shift the entire axis of the industry. Grand Theft Auto 4 didn't just give us a new city, it gave the series a soul. Even today in 2026, we're still chasing the bar this game set for atmosphere and raw, unapologetic realism. It was a masterpiece, honestly, but getting it to the finish line was a nightmare. Let's talk about the chaos behind the curtain. Look, if you came from San Andreas, GTA 4 felt like a slap in the face in a good way. We went from the arcade-style fun of jetpacks to something heavy. The cars felt like they had actual weight. You couldn't just zip around corners at 100 miles per hour anymore, you had to respect the physics. This was the debut of the Euphoria engine. In games like Saints Row, or even earlier games, NPCs were just dummies. They felt like sacks of flour. But in 4, they had a central nervous system. If you clipped a pedestrian with your bumper, they try to grab the hood to stay upright. That level of animation still makes modern games look a bit stiff, doesn't it? And the detail? Rockstar's Dan Houser said in a 2008 interview that they wanted Liberty City to feel alive and dirty. They didn't just build a map, they built an atmosphere. They took over 1 lakh photos of New York just to get the textures right. This game seemed incredibly serious and gloomy, and for the most part it was. You'd have Niko dropping heavy lines like,
"War is where the young and stupid are tricked by the old and bitter into killing each other."
It hits you in the gut, but then, 5 minutes later...
What? Where's luxury condo? Where's sports car? Where's Barbara with big and Stephanie who's like a vacuum?
Even the side characters are pure chaos. You've got Roman screaming about balding while being shot at, or little Jacob saying things that are so confusing, Niko can barely understand them. One of my favourite dark humorous moments is when Niko's carrying bodies in a car trunk and Jacob suggests hanging out, and then Niko says,
"Au revoir, my brother. It's me, Jacob. Do you want to get on board?"
Shit, Jacob, I'm sorry. I'm already hanging out with 2 friends. I've kind of got my...
This is what GTA 4 did better than any other entry. It used humour not as a distraction but as a defence mechanism. Niko isn't a comedian, he's a guy who has seen too much, and his only response to the madness of America is a dry, exhausted sarcasm. So how did this change everything? Before GTA 4, open world games were mostly power fantasies. You were a god in a sandbox. GTA 4 introduced the weighted narrative. It proved that you could have a massive world where the story actually mattered, where the consequences felt heavy. It introduced the in-game smartphone. It seems basic now, but in 2008, having your friends call you to go to a comedy club or the bar made the world feel immersive. It wasn't just a menu, it was an extension of Niko's life. And let's not forget the multiplayer. It wasn't the microtransaction beast GTA Online is today. Do you remember Cops and Crooks? No flying bikes, no laser guns, just you. It was the last time a GTA multiplayer felt like a community of friends just messing around in a physics engine. Technically, Grand Theft Auto 4 was a beast that the 2008 hardware could barely cage. On consoles, optimization was a constant battle. The Xbox 360 had slightly more frames than the PS3 version, but at the end, both were better than the PC port. For the ultimate fans, the PS3 Special Collector's Edition arrived in a literal metal safety deposit box, complete with a Rockstar duffel bag and a production soundtrack, then released on Steam, and as a physical disc set, it was absolutely unoptimized, demanding hardware that wouldn't exist for years. But that physical PC edition was special. It didn't just have a disc, it came with a thick, textured city guide and a full manual that treated Liberty City like a real destination you were actually visiting. When the game dropped, critics went absolutely nuclear. It holds a 98 on Metacritic. The New York Times called it the highest form of interactive art. But the fans were split. Half of us loved the realism and the other half just wanted to fly a fighter jet into a skyscraper like in San Andreas. It generated $310 million in the first 24 hours, it broke records. But it took years for the general audience to realise that the boring parts, the heavy driving, the tragic ending, were actually the best parts. This game had a soul, a uniqueness which most of the modern games lack on. Looking back, we all remember the missions and the car chases, but I want to ask you something. When you finally finished Niko's story and the credits rolled, did you actually feel like you won? Or did you just feel like you were finally free? Think about that. I'll see you in the next one.